everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. Yes, I am the Motor City Mad Mouth, and I'll tell you, I don't know what kind of an audience we're going to have because everybody's probably traveling up the interstates, going to someplace, being stuck in a traffic jam on any interstate. But I'll tell you what, we're going someplace, and we're going all over the world here, and we have a world of information here. And I'm going to tell you right now, I want to go out there and introduce the crew because this is a all-star crew. And then we're going to have some good breaking news and some information. So let's get ready to roll. George Acorn's only tolerated me 47 years. Is that all, Acorn? Welcome back to the big show.
No, thank you. Good to be here, Scott.
Candy Ebling, the brain child behind it all, the controller and whatever, the jack of all trades. Go ahead, Candy.
Just love being on here with you gentlemen, talking sports and whatever else Scott's got up his bag of tricks for tonight.
And we got Jacob Christner.
I've tolerated you 44 less years than George has.
Oh, what a comeback!
You made your mark in a lot of different ways, and we're going to recognize one of your biggest marks a little later in the show. Stay tuned for Jacob Christner. We're going to go back to some interesting territory. Marvin Powell III. Great stuff, Marvin.
I beat the Bruins.
There you go. Yeah, don't worry.
Beat the hell out of them.
And last but not least, my news partner out there, Scott Sullivan. Welcome to the big show. Jeremy Ballrick, another one of our big contributors over there. Scott, there you are. You're back on the big show with me. You say I got moxie. You're going to get plenty of that and more tonight on the Sports Exchange.
Well, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you're looking forward to. Jeremy, hope you're listening to this. You never know what's going to hit your way with all the stuff. I got my back. Scott, why don't you let everybody know what we're going to be working on?
We're going to be working on podcasts for the Sacramento Kings, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Jacksonville Jaguars for Roundtable Sports. And hopefully you'll be able to catch them on Yahoo and Apple News. And Scott's going to be leading the show on the podcast, and I expect nothing but the best. And Candy's going to be our technical director, and we're going to move on those three sites. You'll be able to read the articles, and you'll be able to watch the podcasts on Roundtable Sports.
There you have it. The Motor City Mammoth returning to the National Football League. I wouldn't have mattered when it did happen. I'm coming back there. I love my Miami Hurricanes, but I need some of that Sunday action too. And of course, I'm dragging Marvin Powell in there because I already told this guy when you signed up for me, you weren't signed up for 2 shows. You're signing up for something where I go, I drag him, and now the guy's being overwhelmed. He's in Times Square, and now he's in a different time zone. When I get done with this guy, well, Marvin, what do you think of this? I'm dragging you with me.
Like I said, man, it sounds like opportunity to me, and I'm thankful for the I'm thankful. Love talking football, love talking sports, love talking basketball, and this sounds like it could be really exciting. So let's do it.
Well,
I'm looking forward to it, guys.
Yeah,
it's going to be a blast, Scotty. I'll tell you. Tell them what it was like over at the media availabilities of the Miami Hurricanes. Obviously, I must have caught your attention a little bit.
Well, I always saw you asking questions. Never really knew who you were until I finally came up and introduced myself. But I kept saying, "Who's this guy sitting in the back asking all these questions?" And I would see you in the press box floating around, and never really knew what you did. But I know what you do now. You're very good at it. There's very few people in the market that can hold a candle to you, and I'm glad to have you on my team.
Well, you know what? I'm glad to be on your team. I'm really excited about it. It's been hard for me to keep quiet all day as this thing started to come together. And Candy obviously got more calls at work than you could ever imagine because I just was having a hard time keeping it in until we made it official tonight. But we're definitely going to be promoting our particular network, and that's Roundtable Sports as well on this platform as well as anything else. We're going to make sure that the people up there realize we're going to put this thing on the map and then some. And as old Keith Jackson would say, "Oh, Nelly!" There you go. And I haven't had much caffeine today, people. I haven't. I've been pretty quiet. Although I had that Powerade. Does that stuff interject a little energy into you? I had like one or two of those things. I'm telling you, that's good stuff. I'll tell you.
I'm
Yeah.
afraid if you did have caffeine,
Me too.
I'd be afraid.
you have to live with him.
Sorry.
I know.
So there you go. That's the announcement. In addition to my responsibilities here on the South Florida Tribune Media Network, I'll be joining Roundtable Sports and partnering up with Scott Solomon to go ahead and promote these teams and whatever else we got planned going down the road. And of course, Marvin's right there with me, man. I told you I'm going to bring him on
Can't
board.
wait.
Jeremy, hope
Good.
you're listening to this. You never know when I may call it on you once in a while. Ballrick is one of my primary football guys I use from time to time, but right now for you, for the time being, Scotty, it's you and I, and I'm dragging in Marvin as well. So, but we have a lot of other things to be working on as well. And let me go ahead and preview a little bit of what's going to take place on Saturday, Marvin. And we're going to have a little bit more than you bargained for. But USC will take on UCLA Saturday. It's night, and we're going to do a show with Melfar Jr., Marvin Powell, and myself. We're also going to talk a little bit in that show about Jim Mora Jr. taking the job at Colorado State.
Mhm.
Why are we going to do that? Because he's a former UCLA coach, and I tried to get an interview with him. Get this, Scott, but he went to see his family and didn't really work out too much. Only got the radio guy. 4 days later, he's on his way to Fort Collins, Colorado. The only thing I can tell you I knew about Fort Collins, Colorado, is I know it's not that far from Denver. I nearly got a speeding ticket out there until I talked my way out of it with an out-of-state driver's license, and the guy told me to slow down. Well, you know, I may be king of the road, but those out of cops don't really particularly like me that much. So I know that. Well, that's putting it lightly, Scott. So there you go. Marvin and I and Mel Farr will be doing our show at 7:00 a.m. Eastern time, because Candy and I will be heading up to see the University of South Florida Bulls take on the Rice Owls. And I hear there's a little bit of information, but we don't have confirmation that Alex Golesh could this or could this not be his last game? I don't know. But I tell you, Scotty and I go out there and build this thing, and I start getting more things involved. Who knows how far our network is going to go? But that's one of the things that we'll be monitoring over the weekend. So there you go. All right, well, we're going to talk really brief about Bernie Kosar. That's what I have Scott on for the first segment, but I want to make sure we got these announcements out first. Okay, and we're going to pick up the narrative from here as far as Bernie Kosar. Thanks to Roy Firestone, who put out a very passionate thing on Facebook. But he talks about the fact that Bernie's had more than 40 surgeries, 80 broken bones, 12 seizures, and at least 100 concussions. He's been in the coma several times. But quarterback Bernie Kosar, one of the most popular and beloved players in the University of Miami and Cleveland Browns history, is lucky to be alive and thrilled to have a chance to live a longer life. Roy goes on and says Bernie has Parkinson's disease, cirrhosis of the liver, and desperately needed a liver donor this week as he fought for his life. Well, after waiting more than 1 year for a donor, he got one Monday. Where did it come from? It came from Kane's 21-year-old son, Bryce Dunlap, who suffered a medical emergency. He was rushed to the hospital, but this weekend, the family learned he would not survive, and as a result, on Monday, the family made the difficult decision to honor Bryce's wishes and donate his organs. So I'll tell you, Scott, we'll let you pick it up here, and we're going to have you stay on and listen to everybody's opinion, but I want to lead off with you, okay? One great show for us to lead off our first act, Scott. Take it from there.
Well, Bernie Kosar really is the reason why I applied to the University of Miami. I remember watching the 1984 Orange Bowl, sick in bed, and I see this curly-haired freshman wearing a non-quarterback number. If you recall, he wore number 20 in college, and I was very impressed with him, and I was very impressed with Howard Schnellenberger. And I can credit Bernie Kosar as the reason why I'm a Hurricane today.
Let me tell you, I covered that. The Miami Hurricanes from 1982 to 84, and then I followed Schnellenberger over to FAU, and Schnellenberger's like a father figure to me. And Bernie Kosar and I text a few times a week, so who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll be able to get him on the Motor City Mad Mouse show. But yeah, Bernie and I text a few times a week. I told him I was going to do a show centered around him. He'll be getting this show, so he'll definitely know. So yeah, I'm a Canes guy through and through between. That's why I came back there when Mario Cristobal came back there. And thanks to Cameron Gorby, who was allowing me to do what I need to do this year, I've enjoyed my time back at the U. But this year I dove into some interesting territory, as George Candy and Jacob found out last week. when I decided to go into the visitors side, and I was able to get a lot of interesting comments over the 6 weeks I did it. I didn't do the first two, but this experiment turned out to be a huge success. Any other things you want to say about Bernie Kosar,
Bernie
Scott?
Kosar, as I wrote in my article, which appeared in Roundtable Sports and was picked up by Yahoo, if there was a Hall of Fame for nice guys, Bernie Kosar would have been a first ballot inductee. He is as genuine as they come. He's the nicest guy in the world. I've met him on several different occasions, and I'm just real happy for him. I'm happy for his family, his kids, and I hope he gets to hang around with us for a long time and get a chance to see us win another national championship in his honor.
Great stuff. Great stuff. That's all I want to make sure your first bet came on Bernie Kosar, and it couldn't have worked out any better. So, Marvin, with that said, we've talked about Bernie Kosar from time to time. How much more do you want to add to it, knowing that I gave you the grocery list of things you had to deal with?
Listen, again, it's just another positive story that you love to hear, especially in this day and age where the headlines are just crazy. It's great to see an act of kindness, like the young man who gave the liver up. That's outstanding. And you want to hear more. You want to hear more stories like that. You want to see more people, think that way, and you want to hear about it. You do. You know what I'm saying? Thank God for Bernie and his celebrity. Thank God for Bernie. And the fact that he had people who loved him, a lot of people who loved him, just based on the impact he had, in multiple cities. And again, it's unfortunate that a young man had to leave, but it's a beautiful thing that he was able, that his legacy, and he will live on in Bernie. So a great headline, and kudos to Bernie for being such a fighter through all this surgeries and health issues he's had.
Jacob?
You know this about when I first seen the videos of Bernie Kosar in his freshman year, he looked about 35. Everybody did. everybody was
A generation.
I mean, it's just a way different generation. And it's like they all look so much older, but you want to know why? They got outside. Let's just be honest. They got outside. They didn't sit on they didn't sit looking at phones. That was just their thing. They were 12 years old and dating. But the thing is, very nice. We've heard this over and over. Very, very nice guy. But hearing everything that he's gone through, I mean, all the seizures, all the broken bones, all the surgeries, all the everything. There is a term that we can say about tough, and it's called there are levels. There is tough, really tough, and there's Bernie. Let's just be very honest about that. A lot of people aren't surviving that. So there's no question he probably he would have his fate. There's no question there's all that kind of stuff. But that's a pain tolerance that's unbelievable. And it just, you had to get on through day to day, especially with everything. And it's like, I get nothing but respect for the guy because he keeps so positive.
Andy?
Bernie's done a whole lot. Like he did a lot in his football career. He's also done business and property ventures. He's done numerous things. He's launched a new patent on a coffee blend back in 2024. He's got lots to live for. I mean, you feel bad for the 21-year-old that unfortunately passed away. But good things come from him because he donated. He was a donor, and he made sure that his family knew that before he renewed his last license. And unfortunately, his untimely death, but other people can live through him. And so I would encourage anybody that if you feel like you want to be a donor, make sure people know that ahead of time, and mark it on your license. But kudos to him. I hope he lives a good life, a good long time yet. It was happy to see him. He actually met the mother of the son that gave him his liver, so that was really kind of cool.
His mother's name, by the way, is Kim Kane, and everything I've heard about the woman is just unbelievable. So Kim Kane is a hero in her own sensibility, the type of person that he is. Definitely want to reach out to her. Ironically, on his birthday, And I caught up with Bernie at Super Bowl 59, just, Scott, and he gave me his cell phone number, and we talked about our time when I was covering him wearing that number 20. And I've seen him at FAU events when Schnellenberger was involved. So Bernie and I have a history. We really do, Scott. And the fact that we caught up at FAU events and then he gave me a cell phone number, we communicate with each other a few times a week to make sure. And as I said, we talked a little bit about him yesterday, but tonight's show will be one of the feature ones that he sends. And now, Scott, everything he knows that you say about him, he'll be getting it via text message, pal. Mark my word. He'll be hearing it.
That's great. I love Bernie Kosar.
Like I told you, Scott, I have a lot of my bag of tricks you're just finding out, pal. So George, go ahead. Some thoughts about Bernie Kosar.
Yeah, he got the new liver, as you guys mentioned, November the 17th. The 21-year-old is Bryce Dunlap, who had died from complications of an ischemic brain injury the day before. How sad. But he was a Browns fan. He was a Cleveland sports fan. And Dunlap was more than happy. Obviously, his family was more than happy to celebrate this. And they said he'll be celebrating from heaven for saving the life of Bernie Kosar. And it is just a happy moment, obviously, for Bernie and his family and Cleveland fans. Very sad, as you guys talked about, for the young man to give. But he's beaming up there. His family firmly believes that and looking down upon this situation as a win-win. And you got to hand it to Bernie. He's tough as nails when it comes to his health issues. And I'm going to also mention my colleague's name because he's as tough as nails too when it comes to health. And Scott, I congratulate you all that you and Candy have been through. But I really think that he's a Brown for life, Kosar. This is a great miracle.
So Scott, you got time for a Thanksgiving segment? We got about 5-10 minutes. Can you spare that? Or do you have to keep going now? Okay.
5 minutes I got.
Well, I'll take your 5 minutes and then you can go ahead and re-explain to everybody what we're doing. And then you and I will do a lot more next week once I get back from Tampa, where my brother Lonnie says it's one of my hometowns, Tampa, Florida. The stage is set. The Detroit Lions are taking on the Green Bay Packers tomorrow. Obviously, an internal rivalry here in Deerfield Beach with Candy and I, because that's how we essentially met because of this rivalry. Don't worry, Scott will give you these skinny when we meet over first time at a restaurant nearby. But here's the tale of the tape. Lions have no Super Bowl wins. The Packers have 4. Team valuation: the Lions are valued at $6.35 billion. Packers $7.35 billion. Thanksgiving record: the Lions are 38, 45-2. So they've been pretty nice hosts. People like to come there and they win. And the Packers have probably been pretty good visitors because they're 15, 18-2. And the highest paid player this season, $32.6 million for the Lions, and the Packers $29.7 million. Don't blame it on the small market. The Lions spent a little bit more money, and that's about it. We'll start off with my new partner, Scott. Who's going to win tomorrow?
I really like the Packers. I just don't think the Lions have what they had last year. They really lost a lot when they lost Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. Those are just two guys that are hard to replace. The way they teach and the way they fire the players up. I think they're better coordinators than they are head coaches. But you knew they were bound to leave at some point. But I like the Packers.
Okay, just a little FYI, Frank Ragnow has come out of retirement. He'll be joining the Detroit Lions as well. I don't know if you knew that, but that's something that came across.
Yes, I saw it this morning.
Yeah, Frank Ragnow. So, all right. So I know you have to get going in a second, Scott. So why don't you recap for the audience what I'll be doing with you one more time? And of course, now Scott Solomon will be joining the South Florida Tribune Media Network, helping me out at least on Wednesday night, and I'll be joining, obviously, Roundtable Sports, working with Scott on a numerous amount of projects. So go ahead and explain that relationship a little bit more.
We're gonna be shooting a lot of videos and a lot of podcasts. We're gonna have 3 weekly podcasts, one for the Sacramento Kings, one for the Brooklyn Nets, and one for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we're going to have them on Roundtable Sports. They'll be on Jaguars Roundtable, Kings Roundtable, and Nets Roundtable. We'll have the ticker at the bottom of the next show showing where you can go to see them and also read the articles that are written by my staff. and it's going to be a great marriage. And I'm looking forward to working with everyone on Scott's side of the ball and putting together some first class videos.
Well, we're going to do that. That's for sure. Candy obviously does our producing, and I'm looking forward to the airtime. And once in a while, I'll be an occasional writer. But I think you've seen me ask enough questions that I know you have the capable editorial staff that I'll slip one in every once in a while. I'm just looking forward to asking tough questions and make sure we get the best possible answers that we can for what we're looking to accomplish for sure. So, meanwhile, Scott, I know you have a game tonight, so this is a good intro for you tonight, Scott. And I know we'll be in touch. You have access to me 24/7, Scott. Anytime you need to say something, communicate with me, I'll get back to you anyways. That's all it is with you and I. All right, pal?
Thanks, guys. I look forward to working with all of you.
I work forward to working well with
Take
you
care,
too,
Scott.
God bless Scott, and
Good to
it's
meet
going to be
you.
a great round. It's going to be a great run for us. I feel it, everybody. I feel it, Moxie. Just energy, people. That's all. And
Go Kings.
Yeah, go Kings. So now I got to root. Now I have to pull for the Kings, the Nets, and the Jaguars. Oh well.
Well, that's an
Like-
odd
Let me tell you,
combination.
before you get off, many years ago, I covered a few Sacramento Kings games over a couple of Arco arenas in the past. So, of course, they're probably demolished by now in favor of the new joint that they're in. But I have a little history with the Sacramento Kings. They've always been nice to me. So now
Good.
it'll be kind of neat to be able to get out to the Bay Area one of these days after I go out there and do my cruising around the world here and all that business. They cruise out to Sacramento and Brooklyn. Well, it is what it is. I got people in New York too, so we'll get there. But my quick thing will be Jacksonville coming up soon, and you and I will be going out there and figuring out where the king of the road is headed next, back to the Sacramento King. Pun intended. You know it. With that said, enjoy, Scotty. Great having you on. Enjoy your Kings game. We have a lot more ahead of us on our big show. And working together to you is going to be something I have to be thankful for here on the night before Thanksgiving. We'll get into more people that we can talk about who we have to be thankful for later. Scott, God bless. Enjoy the game. We'll talk
Thanks,
soon.
guys.
Thanks for being on.
Take care.
Appreciate you. All right.
Take care, bud.
Thanks. All right. So let's go back to the Lions and the Packers. Obviously, Candy's already got a built-in ally with the Packers. George, go ahead. We'll start with you.
You're muted, George.
Mute doesn't get it done. Maybe he mutes his thing at the wrong time when I should mute him for other things. There you go.
Yeah.
He's back.
Well, you mentioned
ahead.
earlier whether he suits up or not. The news about Frank Ragnow is just, it's just a big lift for the Lions and the team, the
Right.
players, because we know how much the offensive line has been struggling the last several weeks. There's no secret that the team has not been performing up to expectations. That being said, it's going to be a very difficult game. It could go very well down to a field goal that'll decide it. I think that the Lions being at home, they should have an edge, but we know that doesn't usually happen on Thanksgiving. Scott, you've been to a lot of the games. I've seen a lot of games on the TV but they're only like 500 when they play on Thanksgiving. But this is a different kind of Lions team the last few years. That being said, I'm going to say Detroit 24, Green Bay 21.
Okay, well, that's fair. Candy?
So just to give you guys, I'm going to give you guys a little kudos. The Lions have played on Thanksgiving every year since 1934, except for 1939 to 44 due to the World War II. Now, I will tell you the last time the Lions won on Thanksgiving was back in 2016 when you guys played the Minnesota Vikings. You guys have played the Packers 22 times on Thanksgiving. I do not have the breakdown of the record, though. But I'm going to go with my Packers. Josh Jacobs is coming back. He's back off the injury report. We need this game because we want to take down Chicago. So we got to keep winning the divisional games. So it's going to be tough because we're going into Ford Field, and I realize that. But I'm still going to take my Packers.
Yeah, I know why you are, because number one, on your birthday, December 3rd, George and I had to be there to faithfully watch it. And we did.
That was
December
Aaron Rodgers
3rd.
and Mary. Come on now.
Oh, seriously, really, seriously, or wrong way, really, seriously. Yeah, that Hail Mary. I am, but remember one thing though, Candy. George doesn't go to post game, but I dragged him down for this one. I told him I have a really weird feeling about this, right, George? That
You
something
sure
bad's
did.
gonna happen. And lo and behold, that Hail Mary turned out to be your Hail Yes, and you ended up winning it. The only thing I was happy about it was it happened on your birthday. I give you that much, okay? And the fact that your mom had died, so I was able to tolerate it, but it wasn't easy going to that particular post game when you had it. Now you have it, now you don't.
But you guys had beat us in at Lambeau that year, so we were only returning the favor.
Yeah, okay, whatever. The only thing I got out of the whole thing was you, but that's not the worst thing in the world. It's the best thing in the world. And
Thank you.
all you have to go back to January 1st, 2017, and then people will know what that history. I see. That's why I pick these easy dates to remember this stuff. All right, Marvin, do you see a little something here?
I mean, listen, I'll pick up where Candy left off. She's right. Everybody's chasing Caleb. You know what I'm saying? So these games matter. These wins matter. Look, I think the Packers right now are the better team. I do, but you know, this isn't the old Lions team. You know what I mean? So when you talk about their history, that doesn't mean a lot to me, to be honest with you. You know, this is a whole new culture, a whole new program. They have some guys too. They have a quarterback as well at home. Vegas has some favorite for a reason. I think this is a Lions win. I don't think it's an easy win. I do believe in the Packers. I think the Packers have a good team, but this is Lions at home getting a win.
Yeah. Jacob?
Well, yeah, everybody's chasing Caleb, especially Maybelline. But, you know,
Maybelline. Wow.
But truthfully, you kept bringing – one of the things is you kept bringing up that their record and you know, on Thanksgiving and everything. Let's just be honest. The reason it's as good as it is right now is Dan Campbell. It's like they lost like 952 straight before he showed up. So
They haven't won on Thanksgiving since he's been there, though, Jacob.
Oh, come on, Tim. You let the guy finish.
I know, but I'm just saying. But no, but the biggest thing is I barely seen the thing myself because I saw so many years like they would face Indianapolis and Peyton Manning, and everybody be so excited and they lose by 40. You know, something along those lines. But I absolutely think I'm going to say Lions 31-21.
Okay. And I'll give you my prediction. I'll say the Lions win 31-28. It's going to be a nail biter. It really is. I mean, the fact that Green Bay has a tie, that tie could work for them or against them. So we'll see. But keep in mind, Marcus Davenport will also be returning to the Detroit Lions as well, a much needed pass rusher that they can certainly use for sure. So with that said, I know we have to go back to Jacob's hometown now, don't we? Okay. Now, why are we going to Jacob's hometown? Because prior to this last weekend, the Steelers were 1-12 all time in Chicago. Well, make it 1-13. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, was 24-5. But guess what? He didn't even play against the Bears. So I'm going to go back and read a bunch of scores that they have dating back to 1936. All 12 losses. This could be interesting when you look at the history of these. Talk about the Hallison, the Rooneys, and whatever. But back in 2017, the Bears won 23-17 in overtime. Back in 2009, they don't play each other a lot. They play each other once every 8 years on the other field. Now they might change it a little bit. Back in 2009, the Bears pulled out a 17-14 win. Oh, it only gets better than that. 1995, the Steelers did get a win, 37-34. How many people were alive then? Well, I'm sure everybody on this channel, everybody was alive for that one, but it only gets better. Let me finish, Jacob. I got to go through all of them now. I'll let you lead off with this one because this might require time. Well, hopefully you'll leave Marvin a little time to talk about one or the other two topics. But anyways, 1992, the Bears win 30-6. Let's keep the narrative going. 1986, Bears win 13-10 in overtime. 1971, the Bears win 17-15. I'll tell you, Jacob's got to like this one, and I'll keep winning. Then again, I referenced it before. 1969, even Candy was alive for this one, although she didn't know what was going on back then at 1. But the Bears win 38-7. Okay. 1959, I wasn't even alive then. Bears win 27-21 over the Steelers, mind you. keep it going. 1949, we're getting past other family members. Even George wasn't alive for this one. Bears win 30-21. Keep it rolling. 1949, 49-7. My goodness, life is tough. They ended up
Steelers were
playing
terrible
twice.
then.
They played twice back then. 1945, Bears win 28-7. Of course, Soldier Field gets ugly then. They were playing probably Wrigley Field too. In 1941, Bears win 34-7. And last but not least, in 1936, even my dad wasn't alive then, they win 26-7. So when you talk about this rivalry, it will end up encompassing over at least two places. You have Wrigley Field and at least Soldier Field. All right, you know what, Jacob, we got to save you last so that I don't forget to mention anybody else. All right, George, what do you think about the Steelers? It's been tough for them out in Chicago by Lake Michigan.
Yeah, it sure has. And the thing that, they can't blame it on the weather because Pittsburgh has some pretty rough weather, as we know, late in fall or early winter. So it's not a weather situation. The Steelers have always played outdoors. The Bears, obviously, have their number there. It's incredible when you start thinking about it. And it is, though both those teams are giants in the history of pro football. No question at all. I think that the Bears just, I don't know, they just probably get more up for the game and more excited for the game. I'm not quite sure what's going through the minds of the Steelers. They've been a proud franchise, as we know, for so many years. All I could say is that it's very interesting. It's a great topic you picked up, Scott, on, and it's one of those things where you kind of scratch your head and say, really? Oh, God, really? They did that many times? Went to Chicago and laid an egg.
Hey, George, let me tell you something, bro. You've never even been to that place, Soldier Field. But I've been there a few times. That was a trip.
Not true. I went there one game there. Monty Clark and the Lions I saw there one time.
Did you ever make it on the field, or did you stay up?
No, we were with the fan club. We had all kinds of seats in the stands.
Oh, okay. You sat in the stands. You didn't work. You went with fans.
Right.
You're a bigger sick-them head than I ever thought you were. Because here's the thing.
Monty.
You really are a bigger sick-them head. Really?
Monty.
Seriously, really? You don't even know what a game is like there until you step on the field and you're wearing 3 pairs of socks with a pair of hiking boots and you're layered up and the wind is gusting at Soldier Field like it is.
Yeah.
Listen, they contain Barry Sanders in that stuff, man. The Bears are that's a tough place. I tell you, 3-4 pairs of socks. I lost count. Let me tell you, the press box meal was good. They gave us a box lunch up there. They're waiting on us, hands and feet, because they didn't have the facilities to make us a hot lunch, so they just gave it all. It's okay. The Bears hospitality was fantastic. It really, really, really was. But I'm telling you, Soldier Field, Marvin, on Lake Michigan is brutal. It is brutal. I'm telling you, it is what it is. All right, Candy, you can let Tony back in here for this one. How time flies and hit 9:55. Tony, welcome to the big show. We're only talking about the Bears anyways and their dominance against there. So anyway, Tony, we got Marvin. What do you got? Another 10, 15 minutes, or how much time do you have?
We're gonna go for an hour.
Oh, all right. So when do we start?
You're at 33 minutes, Scott. So.
Oh, good. All right. Well, we got plenty of good stuff then for him.
Yeah.
All right. So here, Candy, what are your thoughts about the Bears' dominance over the Steelers?
I think part of it is, yes, they're both in cold climates, but there's something to be said about Soldier Field and the Windy City and playing in their stadium. Obviously, it's their home field advantage. Pittsburgh just doesn't do well. Sometimes teams have problems some places, and sometimes if it keeps happening, it becomes mental. And part of it is mental. One of the things I will say is that the two of them have had some of the same players. One of the quarterbacks back in, of course, we all remember this, 1948, Bobby Lane, who was traded from the Steelers to the Bears. And then there was wide receiver Tim Worley, who was traded to the Bears in 89.
I remember that.
And the most notable trade was in 2022. The Bears traded a second-round pick to the Steelers for Chase Claypool. So they've done some trades besides, but the Steelers just can't get a win in Chicago for whatever reason. They just can't.
It gets cold and it gets windy. All right, Marvin. You ever played in Chicago?
Yeah, we played in Chicago in '99. I was on the practice squad for that game, so I didn't get in the game. But yeah, we did. I was there, and then obviously I played at Notre Dame twice. But anyway, um, the weird thing about that is, the Steelers haven't had that many coaches, and all their coaches have been iconic. And it's weird that they had that the Bears would have that type of dominance over them. That's really what I think about, to be honest with you. How strange that is. And Candy is right. I mean, you're dealing with human beings, whether they're elite or the highest level, they're still human beings. You know what I mean? So things definitely creep into your head, and you hear records and you hear stats and you hear it enough time, and it's backed up by another loss and it compounds. I mean, that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's really odd when you think about it, especially considering, how great the Steelers have been. Even when you go back, especially when you go back decades, you know what I mean? So that's what comes to mind to me.
Jacob?
Just real quickly, hey Tony, your beard looks like James Harden with clutch ability.
Oh, thank you.
No, just had to say it.
Okay. Appreciate it.
No, just to say this, listen to those years you guys chose. From 1933 to 69, the Steelers didn't win at all. Not at all. They went through their thing. You got to remember, they've been through three coaches since 1969, but before then they were in misery. So the Bears won the majority of those games there. Then you say 1971, which is the start of their deal, but that was Soldier Field basically. 1986 is the Bears, the giant run. They won 1989 in Pittsburgh. I remember that game too. I mean, that funny thing about it was the fact that was their first 6-10, and I was wondering what the heck happened because they did nothing but win for years. Then the 1992, 30-6, and that was a rarity because they were losing that year too. So, and see, of course, there's 95. We know about this and stuff, and they blew a big lead in that game too. So then the biggest thing about it is the fact that the majority of their wins came when Pittsburgh was a completely garbage team for a lot of years, for like over 30 years. So I have to just be honest about that. But another thing, the one thing to realize is that when they won a close game, which I did not want to see, but I'm glad it was over. I didn't want to see a close game against Tomlin, but they survived it. But one thing, why the Bears seem to win these games a lot, and Tomlin said it himself in the presser. They're going to have a chance at a 64-yard field goal, and he didn't want to take it. And I understand why. I can say this: you have to be the very, very, very best of the very best to kick in Soldier Field. That wind off the river is ridiculous. Not the river, the lake. The lake is ridiculous. So that's one of the reasons probably is they're probably not used to that wind that comes, especially when they never seem to play them. They never seem to play them in like maybe one time in week 3, but otherwise it's always like week 10 to 12. And you're dealing with that and the lake winds and everything like that. So that's a good possibility.
Tony, can you tell me, what do you think?
I think part of this is just how the schedule lines up, man. They are playing the Bears. I don't know the history so much of how, the games beforehand. I was born in 91, all right? So I don't know the history. I haven't gone back and all of that. But sometimes it's how it lines up. Because if the Steelers would have came to Chicago last year with the incompetent coaching that they had, they would have broke the streak. But just so happened that they have to go to Chicago this year, and they have Ben Johnson, who has those guys playing like the top team in the NFC North. It's just a bad time for the Steelers to come in. Also, once Aaron Rodgers, who has proclaimed himself as the Bears' daddy, got hurt that week, we kind of saw, things were just tilted in the Bears' favor. It seems like they just get lucky when it's time for the Steelers to come along. I think that the element doesn't matter as much. It gets cold in Pittsburgh too. They play off of the river in Pittsburgh as well. So it's
not as close. Tony, it's not as close. I've been to Chicago about 25, 30 times. It is off the river. It's 3 rivers. I understand that. But it's just not as close. It doesn't make as big of a situation, though.
I don't know, man. We don't see some frigid temps in Pittsburgh come December.
Listen, I've been to both places, too. If I had to compare and contrast, Chicago blows away. Pittsburgh all day long.
Maybe it's the Florida in me. Once it gets cold, it's cold.
No, it ain't the Florida in you.
So
What are
that's
you
why you
talking
have
about?
the
Even Midwesterners, Tony. Wait a minute.
In
Hey,
Chicago, it's always polar vortex. That's what you always hear about
once
Chicago.
it's cold, it's cold. But hey, that's another conversation. We could be meteorologists on another show. But like I said, I think this kind of boils down to just timing when you play these guys. Like you were saying in the beginning, the Steelers weren't much competition. And then, like I say, if this would have been lined up where they played them last year, they probably would have did away with the Bears pretty easy. Just so happened now they got Ben Johnson and they balling out.
I love that line. We could be meteorologists on another show. I hope they pick it up and put that as a short. This guy's a quick study. I like him. All right, Marvin, this one's headed for you, pal. Lincoln Riley put to bed any rumors that he's leaving USC, so he shot down all the rumors. So will you finally put it to rest once and for all, pal, that Lincoln Riley isn't going anywhere, please?
Yeah, there's no reason for him to go. He's making top money right now. He's in the middle of $100 million, $120 million contract. Comes with the mansion on the beach and all that. Listen, he has the #1 recruiting class coming in. That is extremely relevant. There is a chance that Jaden Maava, who right now leads the nation in QBR, there's a chance that he may come back this year or come back next year. And at that point, he would be definitely a Heisman front runner. You take that with all the bodies we have coming back on the O-line and the guys we're going to incorporate in the portal and its #1 class. The reality is with everything that we've finally been able to do with NIL, with our facilities, it's all coming together. This is a premier destination. This is where you want to be when things are hot. He inherited a program that was just down. Those Clay Helton years were tough. We really weren't as vested as people think we were financially into football. And with NIL, we were really late. So we've caught up to speed on that. It's been reported throughout that we are one of the major players in the NIL space. I think we have to do a better job of hitting in the transfer portal, but USC is willing to spend that money. They have the facilities. They have very good coaches, I believe. What we need is to upgrade that defense and get some more depth at some positions. But Leak is not going anywhere. He has too much vested, and this is the point where don't turn your head, Jacob. This is the point where
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, he really takes off. So it would make no sense for him to leave.
All right. Well, you know what? We're leaving it to you. That's your specialty. We have other things to get to. We have Marvin for an hour.
Let me finish him real quick.
Yeah, I figured you were going to get your 2 cents in.
I'm just saying this. Keep Lincoln out of the South. Everybody's putting him onto there. I don't want to see him at LSU. I don't want to see him at Florida. Keep him out. You keep him, please. You can have him.
Okay.
That's okay. He ain't going to those places anyways, let me tell you.
Just be happy we gave you Caleb.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I love that comeback. See, that's why look at this Marvin Powell up there. Oh, man, we got some big stuff ahead, Marvin. Just make sure you enjoy your weekend in Times Square because I'm taking you through a time machine. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and stay in L.A. for a couple of topics. And that's it. Smart Stafford, okay? Why do I say Smart Stafford? I'll tell you why. L.A. Rams QB Matthew Stafford says he didn't even make an Instagram account till 2022 because he doesn't like social media. I don't blame you, Matthew. We have to use it for our own reasons, but I don't blame you at all. He uses his cell phone strictly for just phone calls and text messages. Now I really like it. As if I didn't like Stafford before, I like him even more now. Okay, and that's about it. Adding, I like having my privacy in my personal life. All right, Matthew. That's the one thing that you have 30 touchdowns versus 2 interceptions. You're making the game look easier, but you impressed me with all of what you just said. Marvin, what's your thoughts about the fact that Matthew Stafford is not only a smart quarterback, but a smart man?
Man, I just got Instagram less than 6 months ago, so I get it. Listen, this guy lives like a fish in a fishbowl. You know what I'm saying? He's rich, he's famous, he's popular, his face is everywhere. And it's tough for him to have privacy. You know what I'm saying? He's no different than anybody else in that when you go to work, you go to work. And when you go home, you want to leave work alone. You know what I'm saying? When you go to the store, you want to be with your family. When you go to Disneyland, you want to be with your family. But that's not his reality. And social media just makes that even worse. You know what I'm saying? So right. I can understand why he doesn't want to put his whole life, on Front Street for everybody and invite people in. And, that's a lot, man, when you're that kind of celebrity and people come up to you at restaurants. They're coming to you no matter where you're at. They don't understand that you're not something on TV. You're a real person who really needs space and quality time with their family and all that stuff. You don't get that. And again, if you out there on social media, you just feeding the wolves, man. You are. They're gonna want more and more and more. So I get it. I think it's smart. The reality is that these boys are able to monetize that social media game. You know what I mean? So it makes sense for them to get out there like that. That's the new world we live in. That's and that's a good thing. It's a great avenue for them. So this is a guy who's making top dollar. He can say no to some stuff, so maybe he's not as inclined. But it's hard when that's part of the business plan that your agent's pitching you, so on and so forth, and the whole world's making money in this space. So
Great stuff, Marvin. All right, Jacob.
Well, think about this big time also. It's like how many people just completely and utterly attacked his wife at all ends and all that kind of stuff. And then you had the one part where some dude or whoever, or the woman, I forget which, falls off of a stage and he turns his head and then he said, "Here, you handle it." And I forget which event that was. But it's like if he would have had social media, then it would just been brutal. And the big thing about it is the fact that if you talk about Instagram, I've had Instagram for years, and I probably have 25 pictures on it. I'm just better with words. I probably should get onto the pictures and do all that, but like compared to my brother, I mean, over all those years, he's probably got 75,000 photos on his phone. I probably have 4. I'm just never been a photo guy. So it's like, I just have to get used to it. So I understand him completely. I really do.
Tony?
I get it. I'm sure most athletes they probably could benefit from following Matthew Stafford. I can only imagine being a professional athlete, especially nowadays, and all the opinions. Heck, I'm even an opinion now when it comes to sports and athletes. I'm sure it helps tune things out. I'm surprised at him getting Instagram, the correlation though. He's just getting Instagram. I thought it would take more focus away from him, but clearly this has him more locked in because he's in line to be the MVP. He's probably thinking he should have got Instagram 3 or 4 years ago. He might have been playing even better, but I get it. It's actually very smart, especially younger athletes. They probably should wait to get Instagram and all those things with some of the stuff that they post until they're in a more mature space and they can be better representatives of their teams and stuff. So it makes sense.
Candy?
I take photos on the field, and yet I don't have an Instagram account. So I don't blame him for taking how long to get there. Social media can be used for multiple purposes. Yes, it can be used for good, but there are people that don't use it for good as well. So I get it. Matthew Stafford, he's a public figure. Obviously, he's a well-known quarterback. He's quarterback for the Lions and now the Rams. He has a wife. He has girls. He also has to be a mentor to those girls and show them how to use social media correctly and everything like that. So, and rightfully, his focus is not on social media. It's on his playing what he does on the field on Sundays. And he's had success. So obviously he did it without Instagram for how long? So
George?
Yeah, I mean, when he was a Lion, you guys all know this. I mean, his wife Kelly was on social media an enormous amount of time, questioning different things in his career or officiating or any number of topics she talked about regarding the game mostly. But you nailed it, Candy. I mean, he's the father of 4 young girls right now, and obviously he's trying to set an example. I think Kelly has even backed off a little bit. I mean, I know she's got this podcast she took a little break from, but his wife Kelly. But Matthew, I think, is doing it his way, and I you know what? I applaud him for that. And if he's trying to set an example, he's doing a good job of it because, like I said, the 4 young ladies in his life, besides his wife, there's a lot going on, and he wants to maintain that privacy, like you said, Marvin. I think that's really he should be respected for that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Instagram. I use it to compile the topics here because I live on screenshots to fill this to fill our shows because I've had to use it for different ways now that I'm dealing with my Alzheimer's onset thing. So I need it as a reminder just to go ahead and write topics down is what I do. So there are uses for it. And I'll transition over to a topic which will be our first non-sports topic of the night pertaining to a guy that actually has a YouTube channel. Get this. Okay, here's our first non-sports topic. Then we're going to talk about Stetson Bennett. And Marvin, I think you might be at the end of your time frame now, but we got to make sure we get these two guys in, unless you could fit one New York Knicks topic in and maybe give me an extra 5 minutes, because it'll be a good one, okay? I know I'm stretching the envelope with him, but don't worry. He enjoys his time in Times Square. But anyway, a guy created a YouTube channel to help kids navigate life without a dad. Get this. He wanted to provide kids in similar situations with guidance on everyday tasks like tying a tie, which I'll never do. All I use is go out there, use clip-ons where I don't wear them, or get them pre-tied. So ties and I just don't quite get along too good. So you can teach me anyway to do that. Or fixing things. I don't handle that stuff either, but more power to this guy. While also offering encouragement, kindness, and sense of fatherly support. All right, Marvel, what are your thoughts about a YouTube channel being used this way?
I love it, man. It's a positive thing, and I support all things positive, especially when it's geared toward youth, young people, people who don't have the opportunity to have a man in the house. I mean, that basic thing right there, just not having that leadership, not having that type of love, not knowing how to, not understanding how to deal with a man has troubled a lot of young men. So the fact that he's stepping in there, this is how he wants to lead. This is what God's put on his heart. I think it's outstanding, and especially when there's so much crap on the internet. There's so many bad options, so many things, creeps and just things that just pull kids in the wrong direction. It's inspiring to see someone dedicate their time toward this, and I think it's great.
Jacob?
It's awesome, and I love hearing these things. And there was also a story of a teacher who he found out his whole classroom didn't have fathers. So he literally taught the kids he wanted them to dress well. So he ended up buying ties from Goodwill, and everybody had all the kids would wear a tie at school and everything like that, and dress shirts and everything. He got the kids all dressed up and looking good every single day. And I'm like, it's just little stories like that. It's like, I want to see boys turn into men properly. And I love hearing that, especially when it feels like media is trying to make men toxic. It feels like it. So these kind of stories, I wish they were shown more, but I love it.
That's why I bring them up on this show, because most people in media aren't smart enough to take into our baggage like we do on the networks. That's why we have non-sports topics. That's why I like to come up with off-the-wall stuff. But thanks for the reinforcement, Jacob. Much appreciated. Okay. All right, Tony.
Oh man, I love it. I think about, like Marvin said, you have people who don't have the male figure in the house for one reason or another, and you can reach different groups of people. You can reach the masses quickly. I'm gonna have to find this YouTube channel just to like it, just to keep it in the algorithms, to keep them going, because these kids are living on their tablets, they're living on their phones, and like I'm gonna echo, there's a lot of bad stuff out there. Why not learn how to tie a tie? Like, even if you're not looking for a male figure, somebody that can teach you certain things and life lessons, that is great. And them reaching the masses is awesome.
Go ahead, Candy.
We are exposed to so much negativity in the news, online, all over. You hear about this shooting, you hear about this disaster, and there's no more newspapers. There's very few even news stations, if you really think about it, anymore. Everybody's streaming this or getting information and learning from different ways. One of the ways is YouTube. If I don't know how to do something, a lot of times I'll go to YouTube and see if I can search and teach myself or how to fix this or that. So I applaud him for using the YouTube channel to help teach. It's a visual, and a lot of people need the visual to learn. So I love it. I think it's a great tool.
George.
Yeah, I'm going to second that motion, as they say, Candy. I love it too, and I think it is a good tool used properly, the right way. There's a lot of youngsters, young boys and young men that, like you guys said, don't have the father figure around. But this is something that is a tool that could be used properly in the right way, and teaching them and instructing them. I'm all for it.
Okay, well, I got a couple other topics I need Marvin to get involved, even if it's solo opinion, and then we address them later because I got to make sure I'm maximizing Mr. Powell's time because I know when we talk on Monday, this guy doesn't have to shave his head off because I'll be sending him a hat from our platform before it's all said and done to wear. I got to make sure I can't get him in a tie, but I can fix him up with hat attire. Don't worry on our end. All right, Marvin,
Yeah,
I'm your agent here. Just remember that, okay, Marvin?
I got you. I got you.
All right. So Rams quarterback Stetson Bennett does not have a smartphone and uses a flip phone. He doesn't like outside noise, wants no distraction, and only focuses on ball. Between him and Stafford, have to like those Georgia quarterbacks, Marvin. How about that? I like that. If I didn't
Listen,
have to rely on, I'd use a flip phone if I had to. That's why I love this stuff.
listen, these phones, technology, pros and cons to all this stuff, right? Major pros and cons without question. And you're seeing a lot of people, a lot of young people get caught up, just losing focus, attention span, all kind of stuff. Stetson's a guy like a lot of young people like me. When he was younger, he made a couple mistakes. And I think what this is part of his progression, just his growth, him realizing, he needs to stay focused. When the NFL is NFL, not for long. The window is that long. Trust me, that was me. You know what I mean? So I think it's smart that this guy who's dealt with low adversity is responding in this way. It shows growth. It shows leadership. It shows all the things you want to see in a guy that's going to probably be up for a contract in a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be a backup or whatever. So it is surprising in this day and age, but happy to see that this kid's process has taken him in this direction.
Jacob, quick thoughts, okay? Because I gotta keep Marvin on for a couple of minutes. What are your thoughts on flip phones and this guy?
No, I'm telling this about Stetson because he's right to do this.
Right.
You
Okay.
don't have living here in Georgia. You really don't understand how brutalized he was by this piece of crap fan base. Even when he was winning 2 rings,
Okay.
he became an alcoholic from it. He
Wow.
needed everything. He might be dead if he had those phones.
Okay.
It is the right thing to do to have right now, and it was great for him to do it. And he's trying to recover from it. So yeah, I say piece of crap fans for an absolute reason. There's a reason he's doing this. It's probably to stay alive.
Right.
He's an alcoholic, so he needed it.
Great stuff, Jacob. Boy, you always slip those other things in there. By the way, just Jacob Christopher will be appearing on Sports Wrap coming up. He will be on the hockey show, so this guy will have more time to let the real Jacob Christopher. Looking forward to bringing him on there. I had Jillian Schumacher, what a young lady who's going to be going to Myrtle Beach. So how do I replace her? You don't. But when I do find somebody to take someone's place, I made a big swing to get Jacob, and now this guy can light it up with Mike Santos in the group out there. So Jacob, looking forward to having it on. All right, Tony, flip phones. I know. Go ahead. Don't worry. You don't have to raise your hand.
I know we're doing quick hitters, so I'm just going to say this. Bring back flip phones, okay? You can drop a flip phone from a 4-story roof and it will still work. I can't drop this phone from my bed without the screen cracking, all right? So I'm with Stancy in it. I want me a flip phone myself. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Great stuff, Tony. This guy's awesome, man. I'll tell you, he's going to only get better with more reps. And like Marvin says, we're going to get you guys reps. All right, Tony. Candy, flip phones. Prop to me. I'd wear them just like I hate ties, but I need them.
No, kudos to him. He's got to do what's right for him. But what I will say is working in an industry that is reliant on technology, sometimes you need that for security. You see down here in Florida, there is all kinds of fraud going on. And so one of the things that some of the banks are doing is they're now sending you notifications. And on a flip phone, you can't get a notification. You can get a text, but you don't get the notifications. So it's harder to then help some of the customers and make sure that it is truly the customer and not a fraudster. So there is both sides to this completely.
Beautiful, Candy. Great stuff. All right, George.
Yeah, I don't have too much more to add. I mean, flip phones for some people work, for majority of people they don't work. It's just a matter of one's convenience and taste, and as far as they've gone in technology. But I'm never going to hold that against somebody. I mean, yeah, if you're really in the business world and you got a job, it makes it quite difficult if you just use a flip phone. But I think that overall, that number is probably smaller than we think. But if somebody wants to still use it, what the heck? Let him use it.
Yeah, well, Jacob's right. I mean, the guy's an alcoholic and needed it. Well, all right, here's what we got, Marvin. We got a non-sports and we have a Knicks topic, and then we preview your show. Can you ride with me for those?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Okay. All right. Well, here the non-sports topic is no better time to bring it up than for Thanksgiving. A remarkable medical breakthrough was reported in France. A 13-year-old Belgian boy named Lucas has become the first child in the world cured of diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, DIPG, one of the deadliest brain cancers. Marvin, was that worth staying on to listen to this?
Yeah, man, that's amazing. Again, I love positive news in a world where it's just so crazy in the media. It's great to see that we're making advancements in medicine. It really is. If he suffered from this, or was suffering from this, he's not the only one. And you never know, what's going to come from that, So I love it. And I'm an advocate for pushing new medicine and pushing the science and getting the facts and saving lives. So that's a great story, Sat.
Well, I'll make my comments down to 2 words. Great stuff! Exclamation point. That's all I have to say. Jacob.
I love it. Every bit of it. Because just like what he's following up with what Marvin is saying whatsoever is I have an email that talks about good news every Friday. It comes in every Friday. I wish it was every day because we could hear more things like this. It's like if it comes in every Friday, it means we're not getting enough good news, and we need to hear more like this.
Tony?
Dang, Jacob, that's true. It's 7 days in a week. We need good news every day. This is great. To echo Marvin, the good thing about this is he's not the only one, right? We don't know. I've never heard of this disease before, but you're normally not the only person with it. So hopefully this helps the hundreds of thousands of other. And I'm not a scientist, but I watch a lot of scientific stuff. Normally when you find a discovery like this, you probably can cure some other things along the way. So shout out to medicine and modern medicine for working things out.
Candy?
Doctors and scientists.
And anytime you find a cure for any type of cancer is a good thing. Let's face it, because cancer, we all have been affected by or know somebody that it was affected, whether they lost their life or they are still struggling to fight cancer. But it's a good thing to find. Once you find a cure for one, hopefully that means that's the precipitous to help find cures for all of them. Because let's face it, that is a deadly disease that nobody wants. It rips people of their identity, of who they are. And I look forward to hearing better stories and more stories about something like this.
And I'll be hunting for them. I'm a content hunter. Don't worry. Okay. I don't always talk about Charlie Kirk, but when I needed Marvin Powell's attention the first time, I got it and he survived, man. I love my Marvin.
You caught me off guard with that one, man.
But you handled it. You're still here, aren't you?
Yeah.
You having a good time?
Always.
Attaboy. I tell you, I got some great people in the system. Yeah. All right, Icorn.
Well, the scientists are helping, and anytime that young man like Lucas can get the attention he needs, and going to the road of recovery from such a terrible thing such as brain cancer, it's a fantastic thing, and I'm happy for him and his family. And this could be something really, really big down the road for others too, suffering from the same thing. I just think it's a great story. Thanks for bringing it up, Scott.
You're welcome. Glad everybody enjoyed it. Happy Thanksgiving. Marvin, we'll get you one more topic, and then we're going to preview our show one more time on Saturday. And this one's tied to former Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau. So what I'm going to do is read a list of head coaches of the Knicks over the last 20 years. And here's what we've got. They have Lenny Wilkens, never won a championship there. Larry Brown never won a championship there. Isaiah Thomas never won one. Mike D'Antoni, Mike Woodson actually never had any playoff wins. Okay. We're talking about playoff wins, people. I just want to correct myself. So Lenny Wilkins never had any playoff wins. Larry Brown, no playoff wins. Isaiah Thomas, no playoff wins. Mike D'Antoni, no playoff wins. Mike Woodson had 7. He did a decent job in New York. Derek Fisher had no playoff wins. Kurt Rambis, no playoff wins, although I think he was an interim guy. Jeff Hornacek, no playoff win. David Fizdale, no playoff win. Mike Miller, probably an interim guy, none. And who do we have last but not least? Oh, Tom Thibodeau had 24. And guess what? They let him go. My goodness. When? It doesn't make any difference. And they eventually brought in Mike Brown. I think Mike will do a good job up in New York. But Coach Tibbs, and let the guy go. But there's another layer to this thing, okay? And that layer being this. Tom Thibodeau felt betrayed by all of this after being fired by the Knicks, that when you find out that people you helped either weren't in with you in the end or didn't fight for you like you fought for them, he was spotted helping the Celtics delete the New York Knicks playbook. Marvin, what are your thoughts about Tom Thibodeau? He had a great record in New York. It didn't matter, and then he was helping the Celtics.
Yeah, man. So if I heard you right, in the end, he was helping the other team.
Yeah, he's helping the Boston Celtics out.
Yeah, that's horrible. I mean, that's absolutely horrible, man. And even regardless of whatever beef he had with the management or whatever it may be, that just crosses all lines of professionalism and, and everything. So I hate to hear that, because before you said that, I was going to say I liked him. I thought he was a tough-nosed, old-school guy. I think the old-school approach is good if you can make it fit with these players. A lot of them need that. But, yeah, I mean, for him to be selling out the players like that organization in that manner, I lose a little respect for him. Actually, I lose a lot of respect for him, to be honest with you.
I had to give you both sides. I had to. 24 playoff wins, and now he's helping the Celtics. He's mad.
Wow.
He's really mad.
Yeah, and when you say this, I'm assuming he's doing it in a way that's illegal. He wasn't hired by them, and this wasn't that type of situation. Right. So no, that's horrible. You don't do that. That's just, I mean, I don't know how any player would respect him or trust him, any organization. That's unnecessary.
What are your thoughts, Jacob?
Tibbs, a lot of people, I didn't want to see him go as long as he was going to get that close. But the big thing is, a lot of people are saying that, it's just like he's more of the 1980s and 90s type guy than he is now. That he's a little too hard-nosed, a little too whatever. I think a lot of the athletes need this, but we're not run by the coach anymore. We're run by the agents and managers and lawyers and all that kind of stuff, who are always looking for anything that might be for feelings, that might hurt somebody's feelings. So it's not the time anymore for that. He's a brilliant basketball mind, but this is unfortunate. It's just the way it is. But the thing about New York is I don't think they got the right replacement. I think it needed to be a Mike Malone or anybody else that got the title, because the Knicks need to finish. Just being honest, they need to finish. But they're looking pretty good so far, so we'll just see.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, I respect both sides. I mean, he's mad, and he felt he got disrespected. But Tony, what do you think?
Benedict Arnold. New York and Boston has always had sports rivalries, and I never thought we'll see the day we have somebody double cross the other, and we've had that happen. But little tidbit though, Thibodeau did win the championship ring in that 08 team. He was the defensive coach for the Celtics, quote unquote. They don't have defensive coordinators in basketball, but that was his specialty for the Celtics. So I'm not surprised that that's the team that he helped. I mean, it all lined up for the playoffs last year. That was their first round matchup. But that just crosses all lines of sports. I haven't played professional sports, but Marvin, this is like rule number one, right? Like, you don't sell out your team. Like, even like the management, that's a whole nother part of sports. The locker room is your guys, right?
Listen, absolutely, man. You don't do that to those guys, man, who you coached and who you led and who you spent time with. And that's just it's a no-no. There are, if you want to get hired by the opposing team or get hired by Boston or whatever it may be, that's fine. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But for him to do it in this manner is just it's below the belt, man. It's below the belt in a way that you hope this isn't happening, and this is where we caught somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you hope this ain't the tip of the iceberg, right? So it's bad. It's ugly. Like I said, up until Scott was talking and said that, I had nothing but positive things to say about Thibodeau. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But hearing this, that changes everything, and it really does.
Terrible.
Well, Marvin, I give it to you both ways. I'll let you draw your own opinion, right, based on all the facts. So I listen. I was taught in this business to be objective and put the facts out there. Once you have enough facts, you formulate whatever position you want to be in. All I did was lay it out there for you. You did exactly what I expected you to do. Responded to Marvin Powell the third way. He's moving on up.
Appreciate you.
That's
To
as far
the
as
skyline on.
that's as far as I say, man. I don't want to be. I mean, I don't like to sing. I can break a memorize class. All right, Candy.
Let's face it, he's a human being. And when you've been wronged, sometimes how do you react? You want to wrong the other person even more so. Not that makes this right, but I'm just saying he is human. Now, was he in the right? Absolutely not. And what I think this does more so is makes him look bad so that he won't get another coaching job again. That's horrible for him because he's not a bad coach. He did well with them. And for them to let him go like they did, I have a feeling there's a lot more to this story that we don't know. We may never know. I mean, obviously there have been firings around other leagues too that like, what? That just doesn't make sense. Why did you let, the Dolphins, Brian Flores go? Why did you,
Yeah.
And there are other firings like that. Is it right? No, it was definitely wrong. It'll hurt him in the end. But it's not the first time we've seen, firings that make us head scratch as well.
Well, you're loaded there, Candy. Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores. That's a great example. I agree. Go ahead, George.
Well, yeah, Tom Thibodeau, I had an opportunity to see him last year in the playoffs. I mean, when he was in town, and I've always had respect for him as a coach. He's a great X's and O's guy, and he also really motivates his players. I mean, they had a very, very strong team the Knicks last year, and I agree with what most of you said, that assisting the enemy, let's face it, the Boston Celtics, that's the enemy for every New York fan. And it's very unclear to me what he was expecting to achieve. I mean, they were still paying him. The Knicks are paying him. They owed him money under that contract that they terminated. So this is a very weird situation, and I'm not comfortable with him doing that either. No, not at all.
Yeah, like I said, he's going to have to deal with the repercussions. It's all said and done. Marvin, thanks for hanging with us. And now what we're going to do real quickly is, first of all, you're going to let everybody know how they get a hold of you. Second, we're going to preview our show, which I'm only doing for you and Mel, man, at 7 o'clock in the morning, but only for you guys, man. But that's okay. We'll make it worth our while as we take the track up I-75 to cover USF against the Rice Owls. First of all, let everybody know how to get a hold of you and get ready to talk on Monday.
Yeah, you see my handle there on all the social media handle, Marvin on the mic, and you can catch me here with Scott in the South Florida Tribune Tuesday evenings, Wednesday morning, Wednesday evening as well. Scott's going to talk to you about some other dates, but yeah, Marvin on the mic. And Locked On USC twice a week, Mondays and Fridays.
There you go. So he's with us on Inside the Pigskin on Tuesday, Wednesday Night Sports Exchange. And guess what? We get to do this again with Marvin, Mel, and I, Candy producing in the background and providing stats. And what we're going to do is the UCLA Bruins will take on USC on Saturday night. Marvin and I and Mel will be talking about this matchup. Candy might even be on there providing some historical data on there as well. That'd be great there. And I'll tell you one thing. This is one of those shows outside of Jim Moore Jr. that I'm going to let Marvin and Mel go at it, and I'm just going to watch them talk it over. This is about those guys. I'm only adding a little Jim Moore treat to it because he was part of this whole thing. So get ready, people. I don't normally, this is the first time I've ever done a show at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. But I tell you what, Marvin and Mel are the reasons I'm doing it. I believe that when you have family, you have to take care of family. And that's why I'm doing this for Marvin and Mel. And I'm doing
Appreciate
it.
that.
I have no, well, hey, you extend yourself 15 minutes. I agreed to do it anyways that night, but I appreciate you extending us 15 minutes to take it for doing these very, very important topics. Marvin up in Times Square, but mark my word, we have a phone call on Monday, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. Okay, Marvin.
All right, thank you, man. You guys take care.
You
Happy
too, and
Thank
happy
you,
Thanksgiving.
Marvin.
Thanksgiving to
Enjoy
you
New
and your
York.
Happy
family, and enjoy
Thanksgiving.
Times Square, Marvin. God love you. All right.
All right, y'all. Take care.
All
Thanksgiving.
right. Take care. All right. Now there are five of us. Guess what? With the five of us go to a station break. When we come back, more stuff to go.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, and the foreword is written by another panelist, Mr. George Eichhorn. This book talks about Scott's 40 plus years in the media industry and how it has evolved, old school media versus new school media. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great other content, so go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, you can email us. Or if you want to be a guest, you can email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. And if you see that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to our channel. I don't know what you're waiting for. Just do it. Click it, like us, share us, and then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. Especially, I know you guys all want a wake-up call on Saturday morning to listen to Marvin and Mel talking college football, USC versus UCLA. What a matchup. Back to you, Scott.
Thank you, Candy. We have a few more topics to get to, and that's this. First of all, Darvin Ham is the name in the watch for the New Orleans Pelicans. George, what are your thoughts about Darvin Ham?
Former Detroit Piston Darvin Ham. Yeah, well, I mean, he's he's trying to create a niche for himself. Obviously, being an NBA coach is not easy, as we all know. I wish him the best of luck. I mean, his career with the Pistons was very short, but I think that he's got a lot. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's a teacher. He also studies the game really hard. I'm confident that they made the right move. I'm hoping that he can get this one right. Darvin Ham.
Candy, well, Joe Dumars obviously knows what he can do. So, Candy, some thoughts. He's with the Bucks right now.
He is an assistant coach for the Milwaukee Bucks. He previously served as head coach of the Lakers. He played college basketball in Texas Red Raiders before playing 9 seasons in the NBA from 96 to 2005. He won an NBA championship playing with the Detroit Pistons in 2004. He also had a brief international experience in Spain and later in the Philippines, as well as the NBA Developmental League back in 2007 and 8. As an assistant coach, he won a second championship in 2021 and a second NBA Cup with the Milwaukee Bucks. Good coach. He's coached quite a few different places. The Lakers, Bucks, Hawks, New Mexico Thunderbirds, and the Albuquerque Thunderbirds as well. Kudos to him. I wish him the best of luck. Yeah.
Okay, Tony.
As a Lakers fan, I hope this works out for him. But as a Lakers fan, he didn't show a lot with the X's and O's. I don't know how that's going to work. Coaching. Maybe he's picked up some pointers with Doc Rivers. He's a great motivational speaker. you'll want to run through a wall from him. But we didn't even throw a double team at Jokic. He said maybe we should just kidnap him in the parking lot. That was his strategy as a Lakers coach.
Okay.
So hopefully for the Zion situation, he might be great because he might be the person to whip him into shape and actually be on him and hold him accountable. But from the X's and O's standpoint, I'm still a little reserved on saying that Darvin Ham's going to be a great NBA coach. But hey, man, he might have learned some things in these last couple of years that are turning around for him. And for the sake of the Pelicans, who need something, they need a shot in the arm. Maybe Darvin Ham can just be that guy for him.
Getting Zion Williamson in shape would be a shot in the arm and then some. Might be a few less Big Macs too. Go ahead, Jacob.
Do they think it's the movie Celtic Pride where they're going to kidnap somebody to keep them away?
Yeah.
That was what he said. That was his.
Let's put it to you this way. I don't know how you kidnap something that big without anybody noticing. But still, the thing about this is the deal. I've seen him with the Lakers and everything. You know, it's like that's why I chuckled when I heard that. But I like the idea of New Orleans. Give it time a little bit. This is just one of those situations. New Orleans is going to take a while. To me, it's kind of like Billy Donovan and the Bulls and when he had to clean that grease fire from Jim Boylan and Fred Hoiberg. This can be that. Give it a while. Let him work. Let him work on it a little bit, get a few things. Go up to like 33 wins, go to 40 wins the next year, maybe 38. Go to 45, and whatever. Just keep building on something, and don't let him go right off the bat because New Orleans, it's not like that they're a big classic. They have a big classic rivalries or any kind of deal. Just let it be a little bit and see if you can build something.
Okay, well said. All right. Well, so last night we talked about another feel-good story, and there's 3 people that only need to comment it. Candy and I did our thing. That's why I waited until now. So get this. Okay. Patriots quarterback Drake May and his wife, Ann Michael Hudson, have been dating since middle school when they were 12 years of age. And Hudson started dating. They started dating since 2015, and they've been together ever since. They got married June 2025. Another good feel-good story there. You talk about dating since middle school, Jacob. This is what you call love, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And the one thing that helps with something like that is it's not like a situation with, like I said, with Carson Beck or anything where you just go into college and then you cheat or do whatever. You've had them since middle school. It means you want something. It means you want them. And that's the thing. That's what can keep the relationship going and stuff like that. Is they're more likely to stay through all the way, and that's a wonderful part.
Sure.
Turn it over to Tony.
Oh man, this is an amazing story. It's actually kind of funny because I have a 9th grader, 2 9th graders, and I kind of joke with them. You're probably not going to be with the person you're dating right now. I might have to stop telling them that. Who knows? Like it might actually work out for the long term. That's awesome though. Having a partner that you are equally yoked with is something that can keep a young man grounded. So that is great for him. That is great for Patriot fans. You know you're not going to have a quarterback that's going to be out in the clubs at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He is going to be home or somewhere studying his playbook to go play football on Sundays. So if you're a Patriots fan, this is a story that you gotta love.
I wanted to add one more thing to what you said, Tony. And I'll say this: you know this name very, very well, Motor City. Mike Royko. He got years and years and years ago. He said he just lost his wife and he was in grieving, and he said, "Don't ever tell your kid that you can't marry someone when you're 9 years old because it might be worth it because I did."
Yeah.
He met his wife when he was 9 and she was 6, and they run the neighborhood and they married, and it was the love of his life. And unfortunately, it happened that way. But you just never know.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Well done. Okay. Well, you know what? I want to know what everybody is thankful for. Go ahead, George.
Well, just real quick, I didn't get a chance to comment about Drake May, but that is a great story.
Well, go ahead. I forgot. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, what a great season he's having with New England, but yeah, it's a feel good story. And sometimes high school, grade school sweethearts, middle school don't always work out, but I'm glad it works out so far for him. That's great. Thankful for, well, you got to be thankful for your family, your friends. To me, it's just very important for this time of year to say thank you to Scott and Candy. All these years I've known them, and all the people that I've been introduced on all these wonderful shows and podcasts. I'm grateful for them. And of course, this time, hard time of year when you're missing your parents and my in-laws. And but I want to make sure that I say thank you to all my family members out there as well. Appreciate everybody and what they do to make it a great place to be. Thank you.
I'm so blessed. I mean, I have a wonderful husband that I could just share time on the air with. I mean, that I have a job, I have my health, I have a house over my head, I have car in the driveway, food in the, I have air conditioning. I'm blessed. I have a family that loves me and that I love. I have coworkers that, are great. I'm blessed with a lot of different things. I'm just thankful, as we hear all the bad stories that you hear about this person or that person. I'm just grateful to have everything that I have in my life.
Great stuff. All right, Tony.
I am, I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for, able to watch my kids grow and thrive and flourish. I am thankful for you guys. I am thankful for the podcast community and the village that I have created over the last, 11 months through the top of the year. This has been great for me. This is, something that we all need somebody in life one way or another, and this is me having people around, so this is great. So I'm very thankful for that.
What about you, Jacob? Great stuff, Tony.
I'll say this. Here and there, when I'll go out and do deliveries and I'll do all this stuff. You notice there's always somebody homeless, and if they're not homeless, they basically alone. I talked to a girl who basically said she's going to be alone on Thanksgiving this year because kids going somewhere else, blah 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 blah. And one thing that I can be absolutely thankful for is I have places like this, that we all hang out. You guys have me like this. I got a good set of friends with Sideline. I can go back if necessary and be near mom. I got a couple of set of friends back home that want me there. You know what I mean? The Sideline wants me with them. And I have my brother here, my nephew, and the biggest thing about it is maybe it's not a big giant amount of people, but it's a good quality set. Just the people who want you around and everything, and it shocks me how many people really don't have that. And they said to me this year that they're going to be alone on Thanksgiving and probably Christmas. And it's rough to hear that. And it's like, it makes you thankful and blessed that you have a group of people that want you around.
Great stuff. Well, I have a lot to be thankful for. I do want to mention a shout out to my late mother, Shiloh Morganroth, who died November 28th, 2025. It'll be the anniversary of her death in 2 days. I believe that's going to be on Friday, it looks like. So, Mom, rest in peace. Hope you enjoy what we're doing down here. And we're plugging along as much as we possibly can. And honoring your memory tonight, I want to dedicate the show to my mom. So, but what do I have to thank them for? Sports Information Director, Assistant Athletic Director, what do you want to call her? Jack of all trades, Katrina McCormick. Let's put that picture up, Candy. Her 300th football game. She hit that on Saturday against the University of Connecticut. Katrina and I have been working together since 2007. Candy will definitely get her a copy of the show. Katrina is one of my favorite people that I've ever worked with in this business. And you talk about a person who's like a sister to me and a family member, Katrina McCormick. They don't get any better than that. A few other people worth mentioning. Bob Ryan was kind enough to give me a couple hours, obviously during the past 12 months, come on a show. I'm always glad that my dad's still around so I can give him more things to talk about. Kenny Albert was nice enough to do an interview with me, the legendary broadcaster. Fred Claire, one of my favorite Fred Claireisms is, hey, I'll come on your show. I'm 88 years old. I don't care what anybody says about me. I'm turning it loose. I love that gunslinger approach. Everybody on our network, which is growing. Another special shout out is Steve Reichel. Steve Reichel has been a big, huge contributor to what we've done as well, as I've learned a lot about social media, and he's really helped us elevate. And I will make an announcement tonight. I have every intention of writing Lessons on the Microphone Part 2, and that will probably begin. The outline process will begin probably in around January or February. And listen, the only one that could delay it is Scott Solomon, because you got a taste of what him and I are going to do. You didn't yet, Tony, but I'll be working with. We're talking. I just lost my the sports network that I'm so proud to. Go ahead, I'm choked up. Oh, come on, Candy. This is not the time for me.
Roundtable. You're gonna be
Round
you're
Table
gonna be
Sports.
writing for Roundtable.
Roundtable Sports. I'll be pairing up with Roundtable Sports. So obviously, at some point, I'll bring everybody on the show when I get more established. But Marvin Powell III is going to be one of the first ones that comes on when we talk about the Jaguars. There could be other spots on the road as this relationship continues to grow, depending on what markets that we're in. So I'm really pleased about all that. So with that said, this is a story that Jacob is all too familiar with. Audie Crook set an Iowa State single game record in what amounts to a half, 43 points, 18 of 23 field goals in 20 minutes. What are your thoughts about
And
Audie?
she was sick. And she was sick. She only did 20 minutes because she was sick.
Yeah,
She,
so go
she didn't
ahead.
know she was going to be able to play. But you know something? Like I said to you before, yeah, I caught all kinds of insanity for it. And then you want to, for what everything that I was bringing up, and then what happened? She did lose weight on her own. She did get more athletic, and she's gotten even better than she was. And I'm very happy for them. I'm very happy for her. It's like everything that I say at these things, maybe it sounds a bit controversial to the world that I'm not supposed to say that. It's like I want the world. I'm not here to be nasty and mean. I want the world
Right.
to understand and get better, and I want them to succeed. And it's like it was the same. I'm a tennis fan. It's the same with Taylor Townsend. She always wanted to say, "Well, I want to be a role model for the big girls." Serena already was, and she had muscle. You know, it's one of those things. I just want them to be good at what they do. And the thing is, Audie's, I'm not saying she listens to me. She doesn't know I exist. But she's listening to other people because she's dropping weight little by little. And her athleticism, her stamina, everything is starting to come up. And if she does a little more, she could really dominate the W if they're still around.
A great story. I want to make sure we are updated. This is the first time you're hearing about it, Tony. What are your thoughts about Audie Crook?
I like Audie Crooks. I made a post about her on my social media because that was the same night that her and Hannah, I'm not going to mess up her name, Hannah H. from Notre Dame had the Hidalgo had the 16 steal game. Hey, I like Audie Crooks' game. I agree with Jacob. It's not sustainable as a professional athlete. But it's funny. People say she was running up the score. I'm like, she only played 20 minutes. It's not her fault. She dominated.
But she was sick. She would have probably had 70.
Yeah, you know, it's no such thing as running up the score to me in sports. It's your job as a defensive stopper. I'm interested to see how this works for her throughout the rest of the season, though. She should definitely probably be the front runner for Big 12 Player of the Year. Let's see how that works out.
Andy?
Yeah, I mean, kudos to her for embracing who she is and and excelling at her craft. And if she happens to lose weight along the way, that's great. But keep being you. And that's what's most important, is that she never lost who she was in all of that. And she's excelling now as a basketball player.
George?
Yeah, I mean, she's doing well, and I'm happy for her. And I think this is a great story. I mean, she's still got quite a bit of basketball playing days ahead of her and everything. So, yeah, persistence, pushing through, having faith, having confidence in yourself and in your teammates makes a great basketball player. No question about it. She's on that road.
proud of Audie. Weight loss is a problem many of us have to deal with. At some point, it catches up with you. If you don't lose enough weight, you ultimately come down with diabetes. Unfortunately, I've had diabetes too, but I have a million of other things. You think learning Kosar's stuff is bad. Mine isn't anything to be proud of either, but more power to Audie. I know that we had it on another show, and you certainly took a little heat for it, but you handled it with class.
Well, Tony, I'll tell you since you weren't on. My last show for a year because I took a little hiatus was about Audie. And it was the biggest rated show we've had on this thing because I took an absolute blistering because I was talking about her weight. But the thing was, I was saying I wasn't doing it to be brutalizing to her. I was doing it because I knew how good she was as a player and I wanted her to. And then, but at the same time, I came on back. It was about a year later. I came on back on here and just did this. And I acknowledged she's lost weight. I acknowledge that she's getting more athletic and getting better. And I'm like, I'm not doing this to be nasty and mean like other trolls on the internet. I want her to succeed. If she could be the face of the WNBA, that's awesome. Right. But it's like that means you can to be able to be that, you need to be able to stay healthy, and that's rough on the knees when you have that kind of weight. That's all it was about, and a lot of people online don't like hearing it.
Hey, if we can criticize Zion Williams' weight, we can criticize Audie's weight.
And trust me, I criticize his weight all the time.
Yep.
Great stuff, Tony. Good stuff, man. Yeah. Really good. All right, so that's part about you, Tony. We can see you next Wednesday night and every Wednesday going forward. The only reason why we didn't have you on last week is people saw a side of me that they normally don't see. But then when you have a guy like Dave Doran on, what you expect. But all right, with that said, it's time for Pundit. Everybody talk about Audie. Mm-hmm. All right, Pundit time. Go ahead, Jacob.
We talked about tonight what we were thankful for. But the biggest thing that there's one thing that we need to do in this Thanksgiving and this holidays and this Christmas time. I wanted to say this. We need to absolutely do this. Is we need to take the idea of Stetson Bennett and the idea of flip phone. Not to say we get a flip phone. It would be nice. I know what you're talking about, Tony. But we need to get the idea of ignoring the people around or don't know they exist and be around and start seeing people and touching grass. We need to touch grass more. We need to, because we spent COVID inside. It's like you had certain political people, depending on which state it would be, saying you can't go outside. So you said for 2 years, and you had suicides, you had depressions, you had all of this. And it's been a few years since we've really been affected by COVID, but there's kids that still are. And one of the things that we need to do for ourselves as parents, as coaches, as mentors, as everything else, and I've been a mentor, a basketball coach twice, I've been all of this, is you've got to get this new generation outside. You got to get them with family. You got to get them with mentors. You got to get them all that stuff. You got to get them. You got to limit their screen time. You got to get all this stuff. It's like I heard a thing from Bill Marty at night. He was talking to somebody on one of his podcasts. He said this. He says, I used to have my school clothes. I used to go upstairs, fly upstairs, go get my play clothes on, go down. Mom never asked me where I was going. What's it to you? He joked. But he was just doing things for 3 hours. We need more of that. And and the thing is, when you have more than that, you have kids with friends. And then when you have kids with friends and they're meeting together, the kids get closer with their family. And then what we have is we have less tragedies. We have less depression. We have less everything. And we need to get back to this in this next generation. Because right now we're dealing with a whole bunch of chaos, and who cares whose fault it is? Because everybody has a fault. Let's start by being honest. Let's start by saying, oh my God, I'm offended. I don't care. It's time to get offended a little bit, and it's time to hear the truth. And that's just what I have to say. And happy Thanksgiving to all.
Well done, Jacob. That's why I like to say fun to the end, especially when I don't know that I will carry a topic or two over in the future so you get a little extra time without any pressure. And that's what I'm going to continue to do just so you're able to get your thoughts and don't feel rushed about it. You did a great job. Your Pundit Fun is something I look forward to doing. Obviously, we started that project together. And in the spirit of Pundit Fun, that's why you continue to have a segment of it on this particular show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You do, and who knows? You know what? I might incorporate it on Sports Wrap as well, so you get it twice as much because the pundit
Cool.
brand is Jacob Christner.
Oh, I can
And
come in. I can come out of my head, so it's perfect.
Well, I know you can. Yeah, we know what you're all about there, though. So go there. I know you do. Okay. I figure I get this guy on twice a week. We'll let him speak his mind. He does it. No, nobody does it better than Jacob Christner. With that said, what a night it's been. Obviously, Scott Solomon for Roundtable Sports and I are going to be working together. But I'll tell you what, we'll go back to that in a moment. George, let everybody know they get a hold of you.
All right. You can find me on the pages of the South Florida Tribune under the contributor section, Motor City. And I wanted to tell you that I have a book. At the end of my column, there's always a link to Amazon. If you're interested in my book, Detroit Sports Broadcasters on the Air, thank you for the photo right there. And it's chronicling over 90 years of sports media in Detroit. You can reach me at gikern@yahoo.com. Best way to do it. Thank you.
All right, Tony, go ahead.
Tony Talking Game 1 on Instagram, Tony Talking Game on YouTube, Talking Game on TikTok. Yeah, you can find me all those places. We didn't do an episode this week. It was kind of gave the guys off, Thanksgiving. Here on Wednesdays for South Florida Tribune. Told me soon we'll be doing some baseball as well, so that's going to be fun to roll that out soon. But yeah, I'm always here, always down to talk sports, always here to talk games. So holla at me.
Glad you brought it up. Yeah, I've actually had discussions with Tony bringing him on. I think one of my targets is to bring him on the Saturday baseball show. We were pretty loaded on Monday night. I think we're going to bring him on. Tony obviously want to get him started with what we do Wednesday. So when he comes on Saturday, he'll be on not once but 2 times a week. When I see people make progress, I reward them. Tony's just a classic example. I could take a guy like him, and I am determined as heck to make sure he turns out as good as I know that he can become. That's why he's part of our network, and we're so proud to have him. All right, Jacob, go ahead.
I'm talking trash, not talking game. I'm talking trash everywhere. I'm more talking more trash than Larry Bird. But I'm on Jacob Christner on Facebook. I'm on Instagram when I get myself a thing. I am Sideline One Sports on part of Sideline Sports and Sideline One Sports on TikTok, which we're going to be getting a new logo change and doing all that kind of stuff soon. And just got a bunch of things, a bunch of projects that I'm working on. I'm a guest on quite a few shows, so I just keep going as I go.
Now we're adding you to the lineup for hockey as well as this. You're going to meet a lot of different people, and of course, we'll every once in a while bring you and Rachel Galvin on to do an entertainment show. Right now, my buddy Rachel's out in Las Vegas on vacation, so I hope she has a good time. And when she comes back, I'll see her at the Observer Christmas party, hopefully later in December. Then we'll be able to line up some more possibilities for the two of you. You guys did a good job.
And I'm running out of battery, so I better talk to you all later.
All right, so you take it easy, Jacob. Happy Thanksgiving, man. Appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving to you all.
You bet.
You too. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, so there's 4 of us. Candy, one more station break, and then we'll wrap her up tonight.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. And the foreword is written by George I. Korn. This book talks about how old school media meets new school media. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, Apple Books. There is also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. So go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Monday nights, baseball night. Tuesday nights, Inside the Pigskin football. Wednesday nights here on Sports Exchange. You never know what Scott's got up his bag of tricks, so tune in to find out. Typically, Thursday nights is Sports Wrap, and then followed by Fire Up. Tomorrow night, we've given the whole panel the night off, so We're asking everybody to just enjoy time with your friends, family, your loved ones, and then watch some football too. And then Saturday mornings, Scott does a baseball show as well. We throw in a No Limits sometimes. We throw in a Motor City Mad Mouse show, and now we're going to be doing this new sponsorship adventure.
Roundtable Sports, everybody.
I'm sorry?
Roundtable Sports. Myself, Scott Solomon, will
Yes.
be involved with, will be associated with the Sacramento Kings, the Brooklyn Nets, and of course the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll be going back to the NFL, Tony, in addition to my Canes work, and we'll be covering the Jaguars. I love the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've done a lot for me. They're in the book. My buddy Dan Edwards, who's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, enabled me to keep my career going in the NFL, and now I'm looking forward to another reunion with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They will be temporarily moving to Orlando as they get their new palace fixed up, so that'll be good. But I am looking forward to working with Scott Solomon. Once again, I met him through the Miami Hurricanes, and now we're going to be partnering up on this. So we're working on getting some final details worked out. But meanwhile, Scotty and I will be on, and of course, you know, everybody has an opportunity at some point down the road as I get this thing going. I'm not leaving our network. All I'm doing is adding to our portfolio. So, Tony, safe to say, my friend, you got in at the right time. Lycorn, what can I say, man? You and I are like the Energizer Bunny. We keep going and going and going, man.
Hey, and I'm right here in Orlando, so that's perfect.
Oh, are you in Orlando? I didn't know that. Okay, great stuff. So I get up to Orlando. We'll definitely get together and we'll have a good time. You'll have to get my book and I'll sign it for you. How does that sound if you haven't already? So, but meanwhile, so anything else you want to add to it, Candy? Go ahead.
One last thing I did want to add. If you like to listen to Chicks Talking Sports, Tuesday nights, 7:30, the Chicks podcast. It's 3 Chicks in a Pod or Chicks in Salsa. I'm one of the chicks on the show, so you can always tune in to find out what we're talking about as well. So with that being said, if you see that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, that means you haven't subscribed to our channel yet. Do it now. What are you waiting for? And then click it, like us, share us with all your friends and family and anybody that you know that would enjoy any or all of our programs. But then turn on the notifications so you're notified when we go live. So Saturday morning, 7 o'clock, when Mel Farr Jr. from UCLA is going to be on a show against Marvin from USC. Since the two battle on the field that night, they're going to be battling that morning. So tune in 7 o'clock a.m. on Saturday morning. But please, everybody, enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing everybody again on throughout the week throughout our network. So it'll be Saturday. Then we'll go back to as much of a normal schedule as we can Monday as we started incorporating baseball in. A lot of big news out there. So, George, I know you always love to come on that show. You definitely have an opportunity to come on that. We'll do that. So, meanwhile, I want to thank Scott Solomon for joining us. I want to thank Marvin Powell for giving us a little bit over an hour or so from Times Square. And, of course, the regular crew here. We have George, Candy, Tony, and myself. Jacob. He's awesome, too. And he'll be Jacob times 2 next week. So, meanwhile, everybody, happy Thanksgiving to all. We appreciate those of you that have tuned in. And Candy and I are getting ready to take the trek up I-75 and head up to Tampa. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving from all of us at the South Florida Tribune Media Network. God bless, and we will see you Saturday morning. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
And Thanksgiving.